Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. The House of Representatives endorses budget with majority, and as it is, after 11 days of discussion and an expense of almost 10 million rupees. Government in a rush to establish more universities while existing ones struggle to operate. Bill for 3 more universities at the Parliament. Aam Aadmi Party to move Supreme Court against the stay on Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's bail on excise case. And the semi-final equation of the T20 World Cup complete. Afghanistan enters into the Final Four, defeating Bangladesh in Super 8. Discussions on the appropriation bill presented by Finance Minister Barshaman Pun on 28th of May had continued since 11th of this month. During the discussion that continued for a week, lawmakers condemned the budget by tearing it and with moment of silence, among others. Discussions were held for 7 days, while it took 4 days for ministers and the Prime Minister to answer lawmakers' question. The budget was then endorsed without any obstruction. Lawmakers who had condemned the government's budget for the upcoming fiscal year also gave a go-ahead signal while endorsing it. The 11-day-long discussions held on the budget produced no outcomes. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal himself had been discontent with the budget introduced by his own government. Lawmakers from the ruling alliance demanded to rewrite the budget. It was criticized for being centered on the home districts of senior leaders, ministers and lawmakers with access to power. 31 proposals were registered demanding the reduction of the budget size. However, Finance Minister Poon claimed that the budget was balanced. More than 10 million rupees had been spent, with 1 million rupees on a daily basis to hold meetings for formality. The trend of presenting budget, holding discussions and endorsing it without making amendments has continued to be witnessed at the Parliament. In our Public Voice segment, today we've asked in several provinces regarding their favorite program in the budget introduced by the local levels. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
वीरगञ्जको लागि जुन परियोजना ल्याउनु भएको छ त्यो एकदम ठीक छ।
पालिका भित्रको सबै नागरिकहरूको लागि चाहिँ स्वास्थ्य बीमा गरिदिएको छ।
नारायणी रङशालाको लागि बजेट छुटाउनु भएको छ, त्यसको लागि राम्रो छ।
प्राइभेट बोर्डिङ स्कुलहरुमा चाहिँ नगरपालिकाले शिक्षा नीति ल्याएको छ, सुलभ शिक्षा भनेर सुलभ शुल्क भनेर, त्यो चाहिँ राम्रो छ।
शिक्षामा जुन एउटा भोजपुरी प्रतिष्ठानलाई पुनर्जागृत गर्ने भनेर जुन उठाउनु भएको छ त्यो कागजमै मात्र सीमित नहोस्।
जैविक मल प्रवर्धन गर्नुपर्छ भनेर त्यो खालको कार्यक्रमको लागि भनेर केही बजेटहरू विनियोजन गर्नलाई सक्षम भएको छ।
नागरिकहरूलाई सिपमूलक तालिम दिएर रोजगारी सिर्जना गर्ने उद्देश्यले ल्याएका एक दुईवटा कार्यक्रमहरू छन्।
Now, apart from the Tribhuvan University, majority of the 27 universities in the country at federal and provincial levels are facing a lack of students, with problems of lack of workforce and quality and management intact. However, instead of focusing on addressing existing issues, the government has been busy with legworks to increase the number of universities. The government had presented Tilganga I University Bill at the National Assembly of the Federal Parliament with a view to provide quality medical education in ophthalmology sector. The bill has been introduced with a view to convert Tilganga I Hospital into a university. The hospital currently has been conducting eye treatment programs in 20 districts across the country. Likewise, the Shahid Dashrath Chand Health Science University Bill has already been passed by the National Assembly, which is said to be established in Kailali's Geta. The bill has been forwarded to the House of Representatives. Nepal University Bill has also been endorsed by the National Assembly and forwarded to the Education Committee of the Lower House for discussion. With the addition of 3 universities, the number of federal-level universities will reach 16. However, a number of existing universities have failed to be operated. The Yogmaya Ayurveda University, that has been endorsed by the House of Representatives 2 years ago, has yet to come into operation. The situation of universities, except the Tribhuvan University, has been disappointing. There are only 27 students at Madan Bhandari Academy of Health Sciences and around 7 students at Rajarsi Janak University. Various campuses under TU have already shut down, while some are in the verge of closure. At a time when discussions are rife regarding lack of students at universities due to the trend of going abroad for higher education, questions are being raised on the quality and lack of job opportunities. According to Skills, the government has made the decision to add more universities to the list. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we'd asked you what's your take on creating a new post for Chief Secretary who was suspended after a corruption case was filed against him. 40% voted for option A, assign a new Chief Secretary, 33% for B, halt reinstatement, and 27% for C, legal obligation. Here's today's question. What's your take on Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal's statement that he would correct the recommendation for ambassador right before the appointment? Your options are A, admitting mistake, B, hoping for correction, and C, influenced by the ruling equation. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 3. Arvind Kejriwal will remain in jail after the Delhi High Court upheld its interim stay on a lower court granting the Chief Minister regular bail in the alleged liquor policy case. The High Court argued that the lower court, Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court, didn't apply its mind when granting bail and pointed to what it said were lapses in judgment. These included not giving the prosecution enough time to argue the application and failing to properly discuss conditions for release in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, under which Kejriwal was charged. The High Court had been approached last week by the Enforcement Directorate, the federal agency that arrested the AAP leader in March in connection with the liquor policy case. The ED filed a last-gasp petition challenging a city court's regular bail order, which it called perverse and flawed. The High Court heard both sides and then directed an interim stay on Kejriwal's release, pending its full verdict today. On Monday, Kejriwal moved the Supreme Court against that interim stay. The Supreme Court refused immediate relief to the Delhi Chief Minister, noting it would be improper for it to intervene when the High Court had reserved its judgment. It did, however, admit the High Court's action were unusual. Now, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been granted bail by a UK court after he agreed to sign a plea deal with the US. Assange will plead guilty to a single count of conspiring to obtain and disclose classified US national defense documents. Julian Assange was born in Townsville, Australia in July 1971. As a teenager, he became known as a skilled computer programmer. In 1995, he pleaded guilty to hacking and was fined. Later, he studied mathematics and physics at Melbourne University. In 2006, Assange started WikiLeaks, a website designed to allow whistleblowers leak secret information anonymously. Termed as the dead letter drop, it gave access to classified documents of governments across the world. It was operated by a transnational collective using servers in countries including Iceland and Sweden. In US, an Army intelligence analyst known as Chelsea Manning downloaded large batches of documents from a classified computer network and uploaded them to WikiLeaks. Eventually, she was arrested and identified as the source of the wave of secret American documents. She pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Assange's legal troubles are not limited to WikiLeaks. In 2010, even as Obama government was speculating over charging Assange, there was a sexual assault case filed against him in Sweden. In 2012, in Britain, after he lost his appeal of the Swedish warrant at the UK court, he violated bail and went into Ecuadorian embassy in London. Ecuador granted him asylum and stayed at the embassy for the next 7 years. In April 2019, after Ecuador revoked his asylum, Assange was arrested by the British police. In June 2019, the US formally requested his extradition to face charges of hacking US government computers and violating espionage laws. Assange remained in Belmarsh prison in the UK. In 2021, a British judge ruled that Assange should not be extradited due to his mental health. However, in 2022, the UK approved his extradition. June 24, 2024 was when the UK court granted him bail after he said he will sign a plea deal with the US. It is time now for another short break. We'll be right back. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.